Oh, Edgar! Oh, Henry! Unlike most foreign dudes married to Japanese women, Edgar never, ever, ever said a disparaging thing about his wife. Did you know that the night Edgar met his wife, Yuko, she was wearing a red dress, and she was the most beautiful creature that he had ever seen? Did you know that? Of course not. Edgar didn't like you. Edgar, like most heavy drinkers over the age of 35, had a habit of telling a few of the same stories again and again and again and again. Often while talking about his wife, he would absent-mindedly tell me, for the 47th time, Frank, did you know that my wife kissed Kevin Meehan before she met me? Well, Edgar, up in heaven, don't take it personally. According to Kevin, every Japanese woman married to a white dude between 1992 and 1999 was at one time or another checked against the bedroom boards by the great cocksmith stick of our brother, Kevin Meehan. Meehan once had me convinced for half an hour that my girlfriend sucked his dick in the bathroom of a Boston Burger King. Edgar couldn't sing, but he sure could dance. He pranced across the floor like two roller derby queens trapped in a hefty bag. His favorite movie was To Kill a Mockingbird. Of course! How could it not be? And at 3 in the morning, he looked like Boo Radley, standing behind the bedroom door. He didn't fuck whores, though he liked to talk to them. About what? I don't know. Probably To Kill a Mockingbird. He loved that movie. He loved his kids. He loved his wife. He loved life. He was the only friend I had in Tokyo who I never thought someday might commit suicide. He was too busy. Oh, Edgar. Oh, Edgar. Finally getting his book published was a great weight off his back. As he once wrote, poets must shoulder cliffs, move boulders of huge pities. Did you read that poem that Edgar wrote about me? I did. Only about 2,000 times. One night, I tried to convince him not to title his book Night Moves. Night Moves, as that was the name of a famous hit song by Bob Seger back in 1976. He went off in a rage, telling me that the phrase Night Moves came from his poem, Her Slept, That Wept, and that it was integral to understanding his work as a whole. He slammed his fist on the table, looked me dead in the eye, and shouted, the name of the book is Night Moves, and that's that. I don't care if it is the name of a fucking Bob Dylan song. He was right, and he stood his ground. Her Slept, That Wept is possibly his masterpiece. Especially to have heard him read it, you felt like you were lying beside his wife, watching the tears roll down her perfect porcelain face. The last time I heard Edgar read that piece was at an informal gathering which he put together at a small bar in Nishi Ogikubo called Zen Pussy. Zen Pussy. That cracked Edgar up. There was a massive thunderstorm that night, and only a few people showed. It was me, Edgar, Kathy, Sean, Andrew, Raj, and Baseball Bob. And we all sat in a circle around a small coffee table, with each of us taking his turn on the hot seat. Edgar read Her Slept, That Wept beautifully. And after he was finished, he leaned over and kissed my head. I never saw Edgar Henry kiss anybody's head before. And I was touched, especially considering that I hadn't washed my hair in 4 days. I ran out of shampoo, I ran out of soap, and my water had been shut off as I hadn't paid the bill in 2 months. Oh, Edgar! Oh, Henry! During his last 2 years on Earth, we lived in the same neighborhood, Ogikubo, and we spent many a weekend night drinking in Asagaya. Eventually some pills would come around, and for every one that Edgar took, I would take 2. Usually around 3:30, Edgar would be glued to the ceiling, tripping his tits off, and decide that, Frank, I want to go home and see my family. Yeah, good plan. I'm sure they'd love to see you at 4 in the morning. So I'd walk on back to my place, sit him on the edge of my futon, and spin music as he traveled the astral plane. The last night we went out together, we went to Tokyo Blue Note. I had some free tickets and invited him along. Meeting me at the station, he wore an outfit similar to when we first met. Muumuu, polyester pants, penny loafers, Santa Claus hat. Fuck all those fakes on stage with Fuji cock. Because Edgar Henry, that was some real fucking punk rock. Walking to the club through the streets of Omotesando, he followed 2 shopping Tokyo slappers into a Louis Vuitton shop and yelled at the top of his lungs, "You're not really gonna buy that." He laughed his laugh, and he left the 2 girls shaking in their rhinestone-studded platform shoes. At the Blue Note, we saw the Wallace Roney Quintet. After one particularly passionate solo by the Tenor Edgar hollered to the stage, "Hey, saxophone player, nice sax." Nice sax? Who brought the cool guy? We drank 2 bottles of wine and ate. I had the Caesar salad, and he had a sausage plate. I told him I was worried about his health, and he cackled. "What am I supposed to do? Eat fucking roots? Frank, I don't care if I die, as long as I go fast." Well, he got his wish, because he was gone in a flash. Oh, Edgar. Oh, Edgar. I told him he needed to lose some weight, and after he was cremated, I reckon he lost about a good 220 pounds. I'm proud of you. I knew you could do it. People, let me confess, I can't tell a lie. I miss him more today than the day that I died. A few months ago, I actually saw his ghost sitting at the end of my futon, smiling at me as I paced my apartment. Of course, I was drinking pretty heavily that week, and also spotted Han Solo swimming in my bathtub. This grief is beyond belief. I was mourning every night. Edgar Henry said it best. Grief such as this becomes enthroned, known as the grain that runs signature through a toning stone. Grief such as this becomes enthroned, known as the grain that runs signature through a toning stone. Grief such as this becomes enthroned, known as the grain that runs signature through a toning stone. With all these hallucinations haunting my house, I emailed Kathy with the hope that she might console me. As always, as usual, she did. She emailed me back, and this is what she said. "I know. I miss him too. He was big and round like the earth. A total force. A gale wind. He was a motherfucker." Edgar, I love you.